The draft political declaration is adopted.
Adopted through consensus, a political declaration reaffirming the commitment of all 193 member states to effectively implement the 2030 Agenda and its SDGs and to upholding all principles enshrined therein.
The SDGs need a global rescue plan. And I'm deeply encouraged by the detailed and wide-ranging draft political declaration under consideration here today, especially its commitment to improving developing countries' access to the fuel required for SDG progress, finance. This includes clear support for an SDG stimulus of at least $500 billion a year, as well as an effective debt relief mechanism that supports payment suspensions, longer lending terms, and lower rates. It includes a call to recapitalize and change the business model of multilateral development banks so they can massively leverage private finance at affordable rates to benefit developing countries. And it includes the endorsement of the need to reform the international financial architecture that I consider outdated, dysfunctional, and unfair. This can be a game changer in accelerating SDG progress.
The political declaration comes in the context of only 15% of targets within the goals being on track, with many going in reverse. Think no poverty, zero hunger, gender equality, or climate action, among others. And a message here that instead of leaving no one behind, the international community risked leaving the SDGs behind. South Africa's president, speaking at a leaders' dialogue, called the summit vital in reviving and accelerating progress.
The world's poorest and most vulnerable are carrying the costs of our collective inability to achieve significant success and advance on fulfilling the Sustainable Development Goals. We therefore need urgent action to reverse the devastating impact of COVID-19 as well. We need to step up our actions against climate change, pollution, and biodiversity loss. At the same time, we must recognize that every country does have the right to pursue its own development pathway towards shared global objectives.
He warned that national efforts to eradicate poverty required a conducive financial architecture, the need for a fairer rules-based global trading system that gives developing economies equal access to world markets, and welcomed further efforts towards debt restructuring and grant financing.
South Africa also joins the call to address the fundamental development challenges that have long characterized our unequal world. This requires targeted investment, technology transfer, capacity building, and especially in key areas that have to do with industrialization, that have to do with infrastructure, agriculture, water, energy, education, and health as well. It will also require predictable as well as sustained financial support, including supportive trade policies from the international community. Ultimately, the achievement of the Sustainable Development Goals depends on the fundamental reform of global, social, economic, and political relations.
As the clock ticks, with just 7 years remaining before the 2030 deadline. Siobhan Brycepease, SABC News, New York.